Page 160, Chapter 8, The Birth of Congress I. The National Convention of Congressmen was held on the lawns of Vittalbhai Patel House in New Delhi on 1st and 2nd January 1978. Driving to the venue with Indira Gandhi on the second day of the convention, our car was held up at Janpath due to a traffic block for the visiting US President, whose entourage was passing through Indira Gandhi. I repeat, whose entourage was passing through. Indira Gandhi poignantly remarked that this was probably the first time she was not going to be present to felicitate a distinguished foreign visitor to India. While as the Prime Minister she had been at the forefront, she had also been Jawaharlal Nehru's official hostess during his tenure as Prime Minister. Para. More than 5,000 delegates from across the country attended the convention and elected Indira Gandhi as the Congress President. The opening speech by Syed Mir Qasim, Indira Gandhi's introductory words, I repeat, introductory remarks, and the political resolution adopted at the convention explained the reasons for the split as well as those for holding the convention. Para. Referring to the dismissal of the Karnataka government and the collusion at the behest of Congress President K. Brahmananda Reddy's faction of the Congress, Mir Qasim asked, open inverted comma, was this expected of congressmen and was it democratic? Close inverted comma. Criticizing the Janata Party government, he said, they talked of secularism, but communal riots were happening. There was a feeling of insecurity among the minorities. Harijans had been deprived of their lands. There was general erosion of law and order. Regional and vociferous tendencies were raising their heads. The Congress leadership was unresponsive to these burning issues. The reaction of the Congress party in Parliament was not up to the expectations of the congressmen in particular and the people in general. Even the Congress Working Committee was not allowed to play its effective role. Page 161. Para. In her introductory remarks, Indira Gandhi dealt with the policies and programs of the Janata Party government, pointing out how those policies were anti-people and retrograde. She said, the foremost impression one got was that of a, open inverted comma, drift, close inverted comma. No one knew in which direction the government was steering the nation. She emphasized that a meeting of the AICC should have been convened to discuss the problems facing the country, which had not been done. She also called for unity, that all of us were essentially congressmen and should stay together in the Congress, which is why everyone had been invited to the convention, open inverted comma, including Brahmananda Reddy, close bracket. I repeat, open bracket, including Brahmananda Reddy, close bracket. She said she was ready for action with the cooperation of those who had faith and conviction in the ideals of the Congress. She emphasized the need to rejuvenate the Congress organization so that it lived up to the expectations of congressmen in particular and the people of India in general. The Congress, she felt, had to launch a peaceful movement to protect the Harijans and minorities who were being harassed and deprived of the benefits that had accrued to them during the previous Congress rule. Page 162. On the alleged mistakes committed by some individuals during the emergency, Indira Gandhi said that she did not know what these mistakes were, but they had no right to participate in Congress politics if they had incurred the wrath of the common masses. She also said it was necessary for those who believed in the well-settled left-of-center policy to unite. Para. She strongly condemned Brahmananda Reddy for his action of suspending Devraj Er's Congress membership, as also for his role in effecting the dismissal of the Congress ministry in Karnataka, particularly when it was known that Er's ouster would harm the Congress and help the Janata Party in that state. Para. On 2nd January 1978, Indira Gandhi was elected president of the party, though she did not preside over the session on this occasion. It was a short resolution, handwritten by me, and which we had kept a close secret. The intention was to let the demand come spontaneously from the delegates themselves, instead of us moving a formal resolution of their approval. Our strategy worked rather well. A large number of delegates demanded that Indira Gandhi should take over the party leadership, and the resolution was welcomed with a deafening applause. The convention representing the Indian National Congress, in which a majority of the members of AICC are also present, in view of its being the truly representative convention of Indian National Congress, and in order to provide effective leadership to meet the challenges before the nation and the Congress, unanimously elects Indira Gandhi as Congress President. Para. By the same resolution, she was authorized to take appropriate steps to organize the party at all levels. Para. It is possible for critics to doubt the authority of the convention to replace the Congress president, since, according to the party constitution, only the delegates to the open session or AICC members can elect a Congress president. Page 163. In fact, the Election Commission did take this stand and did not allow our party to adopt the name of Indian National Congress and its reserved election symbol, the cow and calf. I repeat, the calf and cow. We had to choose a new symbol and add, within open inverted commas, open bracket, I, close bracket, close inverted comma, to the name of Indian National Congress. Open inverted comma, I, close inverted comma, obviously stood for Indira. However, after the Lok Sabha polls in 1980, in 1980, both the Election Commission and the Supreme Court, in their judgment on cases pending since 1978, ruled in favor of our party. The National Convention was later recognized as the 76th session of the Indian National Congress. We were allowed to use the original name of the Indian National Congress and its reserved symbol. Later, at a meeting in the CWC, we decided to bring back the original name, but retained the symbol of a, open inverted comma, hand, close inverted comma, which had become very popular by then. That was how Congress I became Indian National Congress, though in common parlance, I repeat, that was how Congress I became Indian National Congress, though in common parlance, the name Congress I, suffix included, continued. Para. The resolution adopted at the convention inspired the Congress rank and file tremendously. Their sagging morale received a shot in the arm, and they found new vigor and spirit to fight and assert the party's identity as the premier party of the country. The resolution can be categorized into three parts. In the first part, the anti-people policies of the ruling Janata Party were highlighted, as well as the inherent contradictions, both ideological and functional, of the combination of parties which constituted this coalition government. In the second part, the deficiencies of the Congress leadership were brought out, particularly their failure to guide and inject confidence into the rank and file. The third part of the resolution provided an action plan, both short-term and long-term. In fact, after the 10-point program of the Bangalore Congress and the 20-point program of 1975, Congress members received a new set of programs, and their enthusiasm knew no bounds, despite the fact that they were going to work in a hostile environment. Charged with new confidence, they returned home. Page 164. Para. The Congress leadership at the center and state levels had become apologetic and seemingly guilt-ridden, failing to realize that the electoral success of the Janata Party and the Congress debacle was a part and parcel of a parliamentary democracy. They allowed themselves to be carried away by the propaganda of the times, which said the, open inverted comma, emergency excesses, close inverted comma, were the sole reason for the Congress's defeat. If they had looked beyond their noses, they would have realized that it was the non-Congress vote in the Hindi heartland, coupled with strong organizational backing of support groups, that had ensured the success of the Janata Party. The Congress never ruled by securing the majority of votes in any election. It ruled by securing the majority of seats. In all general elections, when the Congress won a majority of the seats, it did not get more than 43 to 48% of the total votes polled. The remaining votes were shared by other political parties. Such an outcome is inevitable in a multi-party democracy. Para. The way in which the Congress could secure a majority of seats was by bagging the single largest chunk of minority votes, which, however, accounted for less than 51%. But that chunk of votes helped the Congress get more votes than any of its opponents. The Congress leadership should have realized that it was only a matter of time before the Congress vote bank, which had diminished in the Lok Sabha elections, grew back in size again. They should have taken note of the improvement in the percentage of votes manifest in the assembly elections only a couple of months after the Lok Sabha polls. But what could you expect from a leadership that was suffering from a crisis of confidence? Page 167. How could they instill confidence in the minds of the grassroots Congress workers? Laudable as their theory of constructive cooperation with the Janata Party government appeared to some, it was nothing short of a spectacular surrender to a ruling party determined to destroy the Congress organization in its entirety. In their heart of hearts, they wanted to come out of the shadow of the past and completely delink themselves from Indira Gandhi's leadership, without having the courage or conviction to act on their own. These leaders became hesitant, weak, and faltering, to the disgust of the members at the grassroots. The latter found in Indira Gandhi the promise of undaunted struggle, clear focus, and iron will. After the first couple of months following the crisis, it took her little time to reassert her leadership. Para. That the fighting spirit of the Congress was revived under the leadership of Indira Gandhi was evident from the action program recommended by the CWC and approved by the AICC at its meeting in January 1978. It included, open inverted comma, organizing dissent and resistance, close inverted comma. The program outlined by the resolution touched the most sensitive and the weakest sections of the community. Little wonder, therefore, that when the other Congress outfit concentrated only on the so-called, open inverted comma, emergency excesses, close inverted comma, perpetrated by Indira Gandhi and her alleged caucus, a vast number of common congressmen plunged into resistance movements and identified themselves with the suffering millions. The base of Congress I had thus been firmly established among the masses. Political programs in different forms stretched across 1978 and 1979, and by the time the Janata Party crisis occurred in mid-1979, the Congress I under Indira Gandhi had become the only viable alternative to the Janata Party government. Para. Y.B. Javan made a sarcastic remark to the media when Indira Gandhi was elected as the Congress president after the split. Page 166. Open inverted comma. Thank God, close inverted comma, he retorted. Open inverted comma. They have not declared her the Prime Minister of the country. Close inverted comma. He went on to ask, open inverted comma, who are they to elect her as the Congress President? They are nobody in Congress. Close inverted comma. This was followed by C. Subramanian, senior Congress leader and former finance minister in Indira Gandhi's cabinet, contending that the ideological roots of the Congress split lay in, open inverted comma, emergency excesses, close inverted comma. Indira Gandhi reacted to this in a meeting of the CWC on 21st January. Open inverted comma. It is true, as has been stated by Sri Subramaniam, that ideological differences are at the root of the present Congress change. Close inverted comma. But she dismissed the charge that such ideology had anything to do with the alleged excesses during the emergency. She reiterated that the emergency was a stringent measure taken to meet the demands of a particular situation prevailing at that time. The very proclamation of emergency was to preserve and protect the Congress ideology of upholding the integrity of the nation and introducing discipline which was threatened by the breach of law and order throughout the country. This was due to the defective implementation of certain programs taken up at various stages by the administrative setup. Indira Gandhi said, a campaign of vilification engineered by the reactionary and communal forces throughout the length and breadth of the country resulted in the defeat of the Congress Party in the general election. Even then, on many occasions, regrets had been expressed for the hardship and other difficulties suffered by the people. The real ideological conflict involved in the present change, as also in the earlier, emanates from the implementation of progressive Congress policies of emancipating the poor masses from their economic and social miseries. No doubt the policies of the Congress have always been there and will remain there, but as and when the implementation is taken up in earnestness, only then the spokesmen of the vested interests in the country feel uneasy and resort to confrontation with those who are determined to move forward and implement the radical programs and policies of the Congress with vigor. As in 1969, in the present also, the basis remains the same. Page 167. Para. We wanted the Congress to be strong, vigilant, and a positive opposition party. But to the utter surprise of congressmen, our so-called collective leaders started adopting an apologetic and defeatist attitude in every forum under the guise of constructive cooperation to the Janata Party government. Para. This had a demoralizing and disheartening effect on some of our members' pride, but that the rank and file of congressmen throughout the country remained confident and determined to face the onslaught of the Janata Party government and to resist the growing repression and harassment of the Congress as well as the poor, the minorities, and the weaker sections. An impression had been created that there was a possibility of the Janata Party government being able to edge out the right reactionaries. On the contrary, the actual power is increasingly getting concentrated in the hands of Jan Sangh and its militant wing, the RSS and the BLD, which is promoting casteism in a big way. It is in this context that the Congress Party feels called upon to play its historic role as champion of the downtrodden, the oppressed and the depressed, Kisans and peasants and working classes. After the Janata Party government came to power at the center, we became obsessive with the happenings in court. The important question is whether the Congress is merely to exist, and that too with an understanding with the Janata Party, or are we to move firmly on our chosen path of democracy, socialism, and secularism? The Congress can revive, I repeat, the Congress can survive only through its dynamic programs and policies by complete identification with the masses. We are fighting not only for the survival of the Congress, but for the cause of India's great mass. I repeat, for the cause of India's great mass. Footnote 59. Para. This observation by Indira Gandhi clearly highlights the philosophy behind the grand split in 1978. She correctly assessed the mood of the masses supporting the Congress and the undaunted spirit of a large number of Congress workers. They were ready to fight and face any eventuality. They just needed leadership. I repeat, they just needed leadership, which was lacking. When Indira Gandhi came forward with her indomitable grit, they flocked around her. Para. The Congress leadership I repeat, The Congress leadership was not the only one that failed to realize the significance of the split. The Fourth Estate also ridiculed the move. Indira Gandhi's act, they maintained, was merely an attempt to turn the party into her fiefdom. Medium reports and editorials stated that Congress workers would not respond to her call and that her party was bound to be a big flop show. Like most senior Congress leaders, the media too was obsessed with the emergency excesses. They firmly believed that this aberration would write off Indira Gandhi from Indian politics. It took them just 2 months to realize how wrong they were. Para. I am reminded here of an interesting anecdote. As mentioned earlier, both Indira Gandhi and I were prosecuted by the Shah Commission for refusing to take oath to give evidence before it under sections 178, 179 of the IPC. We were required to appear in person before a magistrate of Delhi's Tis Hazari court. Footnotes. Footnote 59. The Encyclopedia of Indian National Congress, 1978 to 83, volume 25, pages 61 to 63. On the appointment day, both of us appeared before the magistrate, pleaded not guilty, and were granted bail on PR, open bracket, personal recognizance, close bracket, bonds. Our counsels, the late Frank Anthony and Madan Bhatia, requested the magistrate to fix a date sometime in March for the subsequent hearing, given that both of us would be busy campaigning for Congress I candidates for the imminent assembly elections. Page 169. The Shah Commission Council could not help but pass a sarcastic comment, open inverted comma. Is there a party known as Congress I? Close inverted comma. Anthony shot back. Open inverted comma. You will soon know, close inverted comma. We had forgotten the incident, but when in the first week of March we appeared before the magistrate, Congress I had already emerged victorious in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka. Now it was Frank Anthony's turn to return the favor to the Shah Commission Council. He looked at Karl Khandelwal, the counsel for the commission, and quipped, open inverted comma, now perhaps my learned friend has come to know that there is a party known as Congress I, which has formed the government in 3 states. Close inverted comma. Khandelwal was left speechless. Para. Before January end, Indira Gandhi had constituted the CWC and appointed office bearers of the AICC. The CWC consisted of the elected and nominated members of the committee who had joined us. She nominated Kamlapati Tripathi, Virendra Verma, Syed Mir Qasim, Bhutta Singh, Devraj Urs, Chenna Reddy, Zail Singh, Madhav Singh Solanki, A.R. Antule, and me. It was decided that the 3 elected committee members who joined us, P.V. Narasimha Rao, M. Chandrasekhar, and A.P. Sharma, would continue as members and the remaining 7 seats would not be filled up. Later, C.M. Stephen and Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma also joined our party. The Central Parliamentary Board consisted of Kamlapati Tripathi, P.V. Narasimha Rao, A.P. Sharma, and M. Chandrasekhar. But I repeat, Bhuta Singh and A.R. Antule were appointed General Secretaries, and Chandrasekhar was appointed Treasury of the party. A little later, I was appointed treasurer of the AICC and continued to hold this office till 1980, when I joined the Union Cabinet. Page 170. At the initial, I repeat, para. At the initial stage, we did not have many MPs. However, the situation changed dramatically after the assembly elections in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Assam. A large number of Congress MPs joined our party, and Congress I became the largest opposition party in both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. C.M. Stephen, who had joined us by this time, was appointed the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha, and Kamlapati Tripathi got back his position as the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. I became treasurer of the Congress I in Parliament too. Para. The task before us was to contest the assembly elections and to constitute the state units. We decided to hold state-level conferences attended by Indira Gandhi and other important leaders. Para. I too attended a few conferences, tasked as I was with oversight of the northeastern states, including Assam, where we were to fight the elections. I spent about 15 days in West Bengal and addressed district-level conferences in North 24 Parganas, Hooghly, Birbhum, Bardwan, Midnapur, Nadia, Murshidabad, and South 24 Parganas, before constituting the PCC. ABA Ghani Khan Chaudhary was appointed PCC President. Anand Mohan Vishwas, Abdur Rauf Ansari, Nityananda De, and Shanti Roy were appointed Vice Presidents. Nurul Islam, Govinda Chandra Nashkar, and Subrata Mukherjee were appointed General Secretaries, and Devki Nandan Poddar became Treasurer. Para. The Congress had only 20 members in the West Bengal Legislative Assembly in those days. Of these, 9 members joined us, all MLAs of the minority community. Haji Lutful Haq, who had been a member of the West Bengal Assembly from 1951 to 1962, and again from 1977 till his death in 1987, footnote 60, was chosen as the leader of the party in the assembly. Abdus Sattar became the president of the Murshidabad District Congress Committee. By the end of February, we had constituted all district Congress committees. Page 171. Para. However, by mid-January, I had to leave for Assam. Ashok Bhattacharya came to my aid by taking responsibility for Tripura. Off to Assam I went, and with Guwahati as my operational base, I toured Nagaland, Manipur, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, and Mizoram. At first, we did not get any outstanding leader from any of the northeastern states. Captain William Sangma of Meghalaya, Hokishi Sema of Nagaland, and R.K. Dorendra Singh of Manipur were with the erstwhile Congress till the end of 1978. All Congress members from Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh had defected to the Janata Party along with their chief ministers. The situation was no better in Tripura. Open bracket, a large number of Congress leaders in Tripura, including ex-ministers, had joined Congress for Democracy. Open bracket, CFD. Close bracket, and the Janata Party. Close bracket. I repeat, had joined Congress for Democracy, open square bracket, CFD, close bracket, and the Janata Party, close bracket. Despite the poor response, I established state units in all but Arunachal Pradesh and appointed the following to head the state units. Edward P. Gain from Meghalaya, Lal Thanhawla, Mizoram, Chiten Jamir, Nagaland, and Professor N. Tombi Singh / Rishan Singh, Manipur. I decided to concentrate on Assam as the election was imminent. Other areas could wait till this was over. Para. I toured all districts of Assam along with state leaders. Of the important state leaders who joined us were Tilak Gogoi, open bracket, Rajya Sabha MP, close bracket, Harendranath Talukdar, open bracket, former minister, close bracket, Bhinu Prasad, open bracket, former minister, close bracket, Anwar Taimur, footnote 61, Dharinadhar Basumatari, open bracket, former MP, close bracket, and Dhrubo Bodua, the secretary of the PCC. Footnotes. Footnote 60. He was in the Lok Sabha for 15 years between 1962 and 1977. Footnote 61. She was a Minister of State when she joined the National Convention and declared her resignation from the government along with N.K. Tirpude of Maharashtra. Page 172. These few known names were all we had. A large number of students and youth remained with Hiteshwar Saikia, who was Barua's blue-eyed boy. None of the elected members of the Lok Sabha were with us, open bracket. The Congress won 10 seats out of 14 in 1977, close bracket, and there was only one Rajya Sabha member. Para. Despite all odds, we decided to contest the election. I suggested that we should be modest while doing so and not field more than 50 candidates. But there was no stopping the local leaders. Election fever had caught on, and eventually we had to select 115 candidates, open bracket, for 126 seats, close bracket. Mobilizing resources was a Herculean task. Most thought we had huge resources, which we did not. But who would believe that? After much effort, I was able to raise some funds from Calcutta and Assam, and the central office also helped with some contribution. But what all that added up to was far from adequate. Para. The lack of resources eventually became one of the main reasons for our failure. Indira Gandhi toured Assam for 4 days and addressed about 57 meetings. Her day started at 6 a.m. and usually ended at 3 a.m. the next morning. Meetings were well attended, but beset by demonstrations, disturbances, and heckling. At Bongaigaon, we could not even hold a meeting. At the Silchar meeting, I was hit by a stone. There were violent demonstrations at Guwahati, Nagaon, Shibsagar, and Jorhat. We carried on undaunted with leaders and workers from West Bengal, Bihar, and Tripura helping us. Mosina Kidwai, A.P. Sharma, Ram Dulari Singh, A.B.A. Ganikhan Chaudhary, and Ashok Bhattacharya campaigned for party candidates. Indira Gandhi's meetings had a good impact, but in the absence of local organizations, we could not cash in on the response. She spent a day in Meghalaya, where we had fielded about 15 candidates, but the show was poor. Page 173. The Janata Party benefited from the split of Congress votes between the two Congresses. It emerged as the single largest party, with no party achieving absolute majority. Congress I got 8 seats and other Congress O got 26. Of all our important leaders, only Saida Anwar Taimur was elected from the Dalgaon constituency. The rest, including Bishnu Prasad and Harendranath Talukdar, were defeated. From Kochar, we won only 2 seats, and the number was the same from the tea gardens too. The remaining 4 seats were from the migrant Muslim-dominated areas like Barpeta and Dhubri. Para. However, the results in the Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka elections were spectacular. Congress I secured about 2/3 of the total seats in both states and witnessed the routing of the other Congress. The Janata Party came a distant second. And though we could not defeat the other Congress or Janata Party in western Maharashtra and the Konkan regions, we did capture Vidarbha. I repeat, we did capture Vidarbha. In Maharashtra as a whole, the other Congress emerged as the single largest party, followed by Congress I as a close second, and the Janata Party was pushed to the third position. The performance of the Janata Party in Maharashtra came as a shock to many. Only a year ago, in the Lok Sabha elections, it had mopped up a little less than 50% of the total seats in the state, that is 21 out of 48 seats. Much to their dismay, they could not take advantage of the split in Congress votes in Maharashtra. Para. The results of the assembly elections came as a jolt to the other Congresses. Congress O, led by Y.B. Chavan and Brahmananda Reddy, both of them were routed in their own citadels by Indira Gandhi. To the Janata Party, the re-emergence of Indira Gandhi, whom they had written off from the Indian political scenario, was a rude shock. Para. The media too was puzzled. Many media professionals who had trailed Indira Gandhi on her election tours had privately but admiringly conceded that there was simply no match for her tenacity and spirit. They stared awestruck at the public euphoria she was able to generate, particularly from amongst the downtrodden and weaker sections of the Indian electorate. There were constituencies where people would wait for 5 to 6 hours simply to catch a glimpse of her or to hear her speak. Wayside meetings and receptions pulled unprecedented crowds. This was reason enough for a section of the media to feel frustrated. Their sustained propaganda had all come to naught. Indira Gandhi had re-emerged to the anguish of her detractors, still desperate to deny her any credit, least of all for this success. Willy-nilly, they attributed success to the popularity of Devraj Years and Chenna Reddy, as also to the, open bracket, non-existent, close bracket, power of money. So overwhelmed were they with this perverse thinking that after her victory from Chikmagalur later that year, even a senior national leader like late J.B. Kripalani commented that Devraj Years could even get, open inverted comma, schoolgirls, close inverted comma, elected from Karnataka. Para. A crucial question stared the other Congress in the face. Whose support would they seek to form the government in Maharashtra? If they went with the Janata Party, they would be thoroughly exposed before their own party men. But if they wanted to form a coalition with Congress I, they would actually have to condescend to start a dialogue with a leader who they had expelled and abused as authoritarian. They condescended. Para. The rank and file of Congress I were against going with the other Congress. But the importance of ensuring Congress rule in Maharashtra overruled other considerations. A coalition government was formed in Maharashtra with Vasantdada Patil, open bracket, of the Congress O, close bracket, as Chief Minister, and N.K. Tirupade of Congress I as the Deputy Chief Minister. However, the coalition did not last long, and in 1979, there was mass defection from Congress O under the leadership of Sharad Pawar, who now formed the government with the help of the Janata Party. Page 175. Para. It will not be out of place to mention that S.B. Chavan, a former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, joined the Pawar ministry as Finance Minister. In 1977, he had quit the Congress, but by the end of 1979, he had joined Congress I, like many others, and was elected to the Lok Sabha. In November that year, Brahmananda Reddy also joined Congress I. However, after the 1978 election, Devraj Urs was chosen by the party as the Chief Minister in Karnataka and Chenna Reddy in Andhra Pradesh. Para. In March 1978, biennial elections to the Rajya Sabha took place. While in the previous year, the Janata Party was a hopeless minority in the upper house, in 1978 it improved its number by securing a large number of seats from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, and Orissa at the cost of the Congress. In West Bengal, neither the Janata Party nor the two Congresses got any seats. All went to the left front. We had a little problem in Uttar Pradesh. The strength of our MLAs in the State Assembly allowed us only one seat. Kamalapati Tripathi on the verge of retirement, and he was our natural choice for the Rajya Sabha for this state. However, B.P. Maurya had staked his claim to this seat. It was not easy to persuade him to sacrifice his interest in favor of Kamalapati Tripathi. However, it was finally done, and Maurya was accommodated from Andhra Pradesh, where Congress I had 4 seats. Apart from this, A.P. Sharma from Bihar, N.K.P. Salve, and Sushila Adivarkar from Maharashtra and Bhim Raj from Rajasthan were elected to the Rajya Sabha. Para. Congress I started playing an effective role in the Rajya Sabha, with the days of appeasement now a thing of the past. The level of debate was outstanding, in tune with the tone set by Nehru in the early years. We took up issues and confronted the ruling party. Kalpnath Rai, N.K.P. Salve, Saroj Kapade, and Margaret Alva played a prominent role while I spoke on all major economic issues and became the party's spokesperson on such matters.